So here we're going to look at 2008, question 4, part A. And this is a nice little question if you want an introduction to movable pulleys. So if we have a look at our list system here, we have A, B, and a hanging mass. Okay, and a critical thing here is A is a movable pulley. So it's going to slide along. It has a mass M. Okay, now looking at B, B is a fixed, smooth, light pulley. That means we can essentially ignore it. And then we have a mass M1 that moves downwards. So one of the first things we want to do in these equations is try and look at the forces on each one. Sometimes you'll be asked that explicitly as part 1. In this case, not really, but we'll get there along the way. All right, so we are going to look at A first. So this is A. A has a mass of M. The string is pulling up on each side. We're going to call the force in our string T. So there's a total force of 2T going upwards. Because it has a mass, there's a weight attached to it, so mg going downwards. All right. Now, let's come over. We haven't quite finished this one, but I'm going to get the other one in place first, just to make it a bit more easy to understand. So annoyingly, they haven't given this a name, but it's a little block, so we can see it clearly enough in our pictures. It's a little block. It has a mass of m1. And it's a nice little simple one. The string going up, T, and a force going down, M1G. Okay, so these are two different things. Now, one of the things that people find tricky in these questions is looking at acceleration. So if we just look at the rest, the question is released from rest, and we want to show the upward acceleration of A is so on and so on. Okay, now, in these questions, you can often guess which way the acceleration is going to be, and you just end up with a negative number if you've gotten it wrong, and it doesn't really matter once you can bring it back together. But they've given us a hint. They've told us that this one is going upwards. Okay, now we're looking for the upward acceleration. We're going to call it A. Interestingly, the questions use F a lot in the marking schemes. Don't worry, it's just notation. So if this one's going up, well, the other one's going down. Now here's the one thing you need to watch in these questions if you're new to them. There's 2 bits of string here and 1 bit of string there. So if this one goes up, there's 2 little chunks of string that get given to this guy. So this is going to accelerate downwards twice as fast as A is going upwards. All right, because it's releasing twice as much string to this one. So that's the only little bit we need to be careful of. Okay, next against this one is our force equations. F equals ma. So we'll run them for each of these guys. It's going upwards, so 2t minus mg equals ma. And over here, it's going to go downwards, so m1g minus t equals m1 2a, because acceleration is twice as much going downwards. We want to figure these ones out, and we're looking for acceleration, so we're going to get rid of t. So just a small bit of rearranging here. What we'll find here is that t, bring t over and these guys across, is m1g minus 2m1a. Okay, so what we'll do here is then we'll actually go up to the next side here. So we're going to sub in t. All right, so this t is going to this equation here. So that means 2 factor of m1g minus 2m1a minus mg equals ma. All right, a little bit of housekeeping before we go any further. 2m1g minus 4m1a minus mg equals ma. Now, none of these terms are actually the same, because we have m1s and g's here, we have m1s and a's, m's and g's, so these are all separate. I can't add or subtract anything. Now, at this point, I go back and have a peek at the solution. What am I looking for? And it's looking kind of right. I've got 4s and I've got all these different bits and pieces. So let's begin to put our acceleration on this side, everything else on that side. All right. We are going to bring this guy over here. So I get minus 4 m1a minus ma, these guys across, and that's going to be mg minus 2 m1g. All right, multiply everything by minus 1. So I will end up here 4m1a plus ma multiplied by minus 1, and that is going to be 2m1g minus mg. Alright, so we're on the right track here. Pull a out of it. A factor 4m, sorry about that, 4m1 plus m. And the other side, if you look at the original question, you'll see g is coming out of it. 2m1 minus m. Rearrange. A equals 2m1 minus m. Just put g on this side because that's what they have in the question, over 4m1 plus m. Double check that's exactly what we're looking for, and there we have it, QED.